Have you ever wondered why some men, in a world obsessed with noise and validation, choose to walk alone? Why they vanish from the crowd, slip into shadow, and become almost mythic in their distance? Why is it that the man who chooses solitude radiates a power that feels both dangerous and magnetic, unsettling and alluring? There is something in that quiet defiance, that refusal to chase or explain, that sends a ripple through the hearts of those who witness it. He is the man who no longer seeks applause, who has turned his gaze inward, who has learned, through pain, through loss, through the slow burn of disappointment, to become his own sanctuary. He is not running from the world, but returning to himself. In the ancient halls of his mind, he finds a peace that cannot be bought, a silence that is not empty but alive with meaning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The man who chooses solitude has discovered this timeless truth. He is not lonely, he is alone. There is a difference, a chasm as wide as the ocean between the desperate ache for company and the sovereign choice to be with oneself. Most men fear the echo of their own thoughts. They fill every moment with distraction, with the shallow comfort of attention, with the endless scroll of validation. But the man who chooses solitude is different. He is not afraid to confront the shadows within. He sits with his regrets and his wounds, his triumphs and his failures, as one sits with old friends, without judgment, without the need to escape. He knows that the only way out is through. You may have seen him, perhaps in the corner of a crowded room, unmoved by the swirl of conversation, his eyes distant, his presence commanding. Or perhaps you have felt his absence more keenly than his presence, a sullenness that lingers, a question that haunts. What does he know that others do not? What has he seen in the depths of solitude that gives him such unwavering calm? This is the man who has mastered the art of radical acceptance. He does not rage against the tides of fate, nor does he beg for mercy from the world. Instead, he studies his own mind as a philosopher studies the stars, patiently, relentlessly, with a sense of awe. He understands that suffering is not an enemy but a teacher, that disappointment is not a curse but a path to clarity. He has learned to let go of what he cannot control, to release the grip of ego, to dissolve the need for external approval. And yet there is danger in this power. The man who chooses solitude becomes a mirror to those around him, a reminder of what they have not faced, what they have not conquered within themselves. His presence stirs something deep and primal, an unease that borders on fascination. Women wonder what secrets he keeps, what storms he has weathered, what passions he hides behind that stoic calm. Men sense a challenge, a silent dare to meet themselves in the crucible of isolation. You too may feel it, the urge to retreat, to pull away from the noise, to seek the clarity that only silence can bring. But solitude is not for the faint of heart. It is a sacred fire, a place where illusions burn away and only the truth remains. To choose solitude is to strip away the armor of performance, to stand naked before your own soul, to face the parts of yourself that you would rather forget. It is to become both the sculptor and the stone. The man who embraces this path does not emerge unscathed. He is marked by a certain gravity, an intensity that cannot be faked. He is not swayed by flattery or wounded by rejection. His self-worth is forged in the furnace of solitude, unbreakable and unyielding. He does not compete for attention, nor does he shrink from being misunderstood. He walks his own path, guided by an inner compass that points not to pleasure or approval, but to meaning. There is in solitude a kind of alchemy. The man who enters it is not the same as the one who leaves. He is tempered, refined, made whole by the crucible of his own company. He learns to distinguish between loneliness and solitude, between longing and desire, between need and love. He discovers that true power is not the ability to command others, but the mastery of oneself. Imagine for a moment the strength required to remain unmoved in the face of temptation, to resist the pull of validation, to refuse the easy comfort of distraction. This is the discipline of the Stoic, the art of self-possession. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The man who chooses solitude embodies this wisdom. He is not immune to pain, but he is not enslaved by it. He feels deeply, but he does not cling. He loves fiercely, but he does not lose himself in longing. In his silence, there is a language more eloquent than words, a communication that transcends the ordinary, that speaks to the soul. He does not explain himself, for he knows that true understanding cannot be forced. He does not argue, for he has nothing to prove. He does not chase, for he knows that what is meant for him will find him, and what is not will fall away. You may find yourself drawn to such a man, unable to articulate why. His mystery is not an act, but the natural result of a life lived with intention. He does not reveal himself easily, for he values what is rare. He does not give his time or energy freely, for he understands the cost of intimacy. To be close to him is to be invited into a world where silence is sacred, where presence is everything, where love is given without demand or expectation. The dangerous power of the man who chooses solitude lies not in his ability to withdraw, but in his capacity to remain whole in the absence of others. He is not defined by his relationships, nor diminished by his aloneness. He is complete, self-sustaining, rooted in a sense of purpose that does not waver with the tides of fortune. In a world that fears emptiness, he finds fullness. In a culture that worships noise, he cherishes silence. In a society that equates worth with attention, he finds value in obscurity. He is a paradox, visible in his absence, unforgettable in his detachment, powerful in his restraint. He moves through life with a deliberate slowness, as if he is measuring each moment, weighing its meaning before allowing it to touch him. The world rushes by in a blur of urgency and longing, but he remains unhurried, anchored in an inner stillness that few can fathom. There is a certain gravity to his presence, a silent confidence that radiates from the core of his being. Those who encounter him sense it immediately, a subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the air, as if something ancient and unyielding has entered the room. He does not explain his absence, nor does he apologize for his distance. To those who crave certainty, his silence is maddening. To those who hunger for depth, it is intoxicating. He is the embodiment of the Stoic ideal, unmoved by praise, undisturbed by criticism, immune to the petty dramas that consume lesser men. He has learned that the opinions of others are like passing clouds, momentary, insubstantial, incapable of altering the sky of his mind. In solitude, he has discovered the contours of his own soul. He has sat with his pain until it became familiar, until the sharp edges of regret and shame were worn smooth by acceptance. He has learned to listen to the quiet voice within, the one that speaks not in words but in feelings, hunches, and dreams. He trusts this voice above all others, for it is the only guide that cannot be corrupted by the world's noise. Many misunderstand him. They project their fears and desires onto his silence, imagining that he is wounded, arrogant, or indifferent. But the truth is far more complex. He has simply chosen not to be ruled by the need for approval. He knows that the crowd is fickle, that admiration is fleeting, that love given in desperation is easily withdrawn. He has seen too many men lose themselves in the pursuit of validation, only to wake one day as strangers to themselves. You might envy his detachment or resent it. You might wonder what it would be like to feel so complete, so unbothered by the shifting tides of fortune. The truth is, this power is available to anyone willing to pay the price. Solitude is not given. It is earned, forged in the fires of self-confrontation and unwavering honesty. It requires the courage to look at oneself without flinching, to admit the full measure of one's weakness and strength. He is not without feeling. On the contrary, he feels everything with a depth that would overwhelm most. But he does not act on every impulse, nor does he surrender to every desire. He has learned the art of restraint, the discipline of delayed gratification. He knows that true freedom lies not in the indulgence of every whim, but in the ability to choose one's own path, regardless of temptation. There is a kind of magic in his presence, a sense that anything is possible, that the ordinary rules do not apply. He does not seek to impress, yet people find themselves drawn to him, eager for his attention, desperate for his approval. They sense that he possesses something rare, something that cannot be bought or taught. It is the quiet authority of a man who has faced himself and emerged whole. He does not fear loss, for he knows that everything is temporary. He does not cling to pleasure, for he understands that all joy is fleeting. He does not dread pain, for he has made peace with suffering. In this way he is unassailable, untouchable, immune to the emotional storms that batter those who live at the mercy of their feelings. You may have wondered what it would be like to possess such power, to walk through the world with unshakable calm, to love without fear, to let go without regret. The path is open, but it is not easy. It demands the willingness to be misunderstood, to be alone, to stand apart from the crowd. It requires the strength to endure the loneliness that comes before true solitude, the emptiness that precedes fullness. The man who chooses solitude is not a hermit, nor is he a cynic. He is a seeker, a warrior, a philosopher. He has chosen to master himself rather than the world, to conquer his own mind rather than the hearts of others. He knows that the greatest battles are fought not on the fields of glory, but in the quiet corners of the soul. He is not immune to love, nor indifferent to beauty. In fact, his capacity for appreciation is heightened by his detachment. He does not take for granted the presence of another, nor does he demand that they complete him. He loves from a place of abundance, not lack, from fullness, not emptiness. His affection is a gift, not a transaction. He gives freely, without expectation, without the need to possess or control. In the end, it is his violence that speaks loudest. It is the space he holds, within himself and for others, that transforms those who enter it. He invites you to meet yourself, to confront your own shadows, to discover the source of your own strength. He does not rescue, nor does he pursue. He simply is, a living testament to the power of solitude, the beauty of self-mastery, the freedom that comes from letting go. His life is a quiet rebellion, a refusal to be defined by the chaos of the world. He does not argue with reality, nor does he waste energy on what he cannot change. He accepts what is, and in that acceptance he finds peace. He is not a victim of circumstance, but the author of his own fate. The dangerous power of a man who chooses solitude is not in his ability to withdraw, but in his refusal to be enslaved by anything outside himself. He is free, not because he has no desires, but because his desires do not rule him. He has learned to want what he has, to cherish what is, to surrender what must go. There is an unmistakable tension in the air whenever he enters a room, a silent question that lingers in the minds of those around him. What does he know that we do not? His presence unsettles the complacent, inspires the restless, and awakens longing in those who have never dared to be alone with themselves. His solitude is not a wall but a mirror, one that reflects the hidden fears and unfulfilled desires of others. For in his detachment he exposes the dependence that so many carry like a secret wound. He is not without scars. The path to solitude is paved with heartbreak and disillusionment, with the shattering of old illusions and the painful birth of self-awareness. He has loved and lost, trusted and been betrayed, given and been left empty. Yet unlike those who allow pain to harden them, he has chosen to let it soften his defences, to let suffering teach him humility. He does not hide from his wounds. He honours them, knowing they are the price of wisdom. In the quiet of his own company, he has learned to listen to the subtle rhythms of his heart, to the quiet wisdom that emerges only when the world falls silent. He has come to understand that most people flee from themselves, desperate to fill the void with distraction, approval, and fleeting pleasures. But he has chosen a different path, the path of radical self-acceptance, of facing what is true no matter how uncomfortable. This is not the absence of feeling, but the presence of courage. It takes a rare kind of bravery to face the emptiness within, to allow the silence to speak, to let go of the need for constant stimulation. In the stillness, he finds clarity. In the absence of noise, he hears the voice of his own soul. You may sense it too, if you are honest. Beneath the surface of your daily distractions, there is a longing for something deeper, something real. The world teaches you to seek fulfillment outside yourself, to chase after love, success, and admiration. But the man who chooses solitude knows that true satisfaction can only be found within. He is not immune to longing, but he does not let longing rule him. He feels desire, but he is not consumed by it. He experiences loss, but he does not lose himself. His power lies in this subtle mastery, a quiet, unyielding strength that cannot be shaken by praise or blame. He does not need to be understood, nor does he require agreement. He has made peace with being misunderstood, with walking alone, with carrying the weight of his own choices. This is the essence of Stoic masculinity, the willingness to stand apart, to be whole without the validation of others, to find meaning in the act of being rather than in the approval of the crowd. He is a paradox, a man who is most magnetic when he is least available, most desirable when he is least seeking. His absence is felt more keenly than the presence of others, his silence more eloquent than their words. In a world that equates worth with visibility, he finds power in invisibility. In a culture that rewards noise, he commands with quiet. Women sense this difference even if they cannot name it. They are drawn to the mystery, the challenge, the sense that here is a man who cannot be possessed or tamed. He does not flatter or pursue, does not play games or seek to impress. He simply exists, whole and complete, asking nothing, offering everything. His love, when given, is a rare and precious thing, a gift, not a bargain. He does not need, and so he's free to choose. Men too are affected by his presence. Some feel threatened, sensing in him a standard they have not met. Others are inspired, recognizing in his solitude the possibility of their own liberation. He does not compete, for he has nothing to prove. He does not compare, for he measures himself only against his own ideals. In this way he becomes a quiet leader, a living example of what is possible when a man chooses to master himself. You may find yourself challenged by his example. You may feel the urge to withdraw, to question your own dependencies, to confront the parts of yourself you have long ignored. This is the invitation of the solitary man, to meet yourself in the silence, to discover what remains when all distractions are stripped away. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to true freedom. He is not without temptation, nor is he immune to the pleasures of the world. But he has learned to savour without clinging, to enjoy without needing. He knows that all things are transient, that nothing lasts, that beauty fades and love changes. Rather than despair, he finds peace in this knowledge. He cherishes what is, knowing it will not remain. He loves deeply, knowing that loss is inevitable. He gives fully without expectation of return. In his solitude, he has discovered a kind of abundance that cannot be taken away. He is not rich by the world's standards, but he is wealthy in spirit. He does not measure his worth by possessions or achievements, but by the quality of his presence, the depth of his understanding, the strength of his character. He is content with little, grateful for much, at peace with everything. You may wonder if such power is attainable, if you, too, can find strength in solitude. The answer is yes, but only if you are willing to let go of what no longer serves you, to face the truth of your own heart, to embrace the discomfort of being alone. It is a journey, not a destination, a process of becoming, of shedding old skins, of emerging new and whole. The man who chooses solitude is not running from the world. He is running toward himself. He is not escaping pain, he is transforming it. He is not rejecting love, he is learning to love without attachment. In this he finds a freedom that is rare and precious, a dangerous power that cannot be bought, only earned. He walks the edge between presence and absence, his every movement deliberate, his every silence heavy with meaning. He is a force not because he imposes himself, but because he withholds. In a world desperate for attention, he is content to observe. In a society addicted to affirmation, he is nourished by his own approval. His value does not rise and fall with the opinions of others. It is constant, unwavering, forged in the crucible of solitude. His eyes, when they meet yours, do not seek permission or favour. They see through pretense, through masks, through the layers you have built to shield yourself from disappointment. There is no malice in his gaze, only clarity, a kind of gentle ruthlessness that invites you to drop your own defences. It is as if he is saying, "Show me who you are, not who you pretend to be." The invitation is subtle but unmistakable. Most turn away, unable to bear the weight of such honest attention. But those who remain, who dare to meet themselves in the mirror of his presence, are changed. He does not speak often, but when he does, his words carry the weight of experience, the authority of someone who has suffered and survived. He does not offer easy comfort or shallow reassurance. Instead, he offers truth, sometimes gentle, sometimes brutal, always liberating. He knows that growth is born of discomfort, that transformation requires the death of old illusions. He does not shy away from pain, nor does he shield others from it. He trusts in the resilience of the soul, in the power of adversity to reveal what is essential. You may fear this kind of honesty, for it threatens the fragile structures you have built to keep yourself safe. But somewhere deep inside you crave it, the chance to be seen, truly seen, without judgment or agenda. The solitary man offers this, not because he seeks to change you, but because he has changed himself. His acceptance is radical, his boundaries firm. He does not rescue, nor does he enable. He allows you to face your own darkness, to claim your own light. He is the embodiment of self-mastery, the living proof that freedom is not the absence of constraint, but the ability to choose one's own response to circumstance. He has learned to govern his emotions, to direct his energy with intention, to act rather than react. He is not immune to anger or sorrow, but he is not ruled by them. He feels deeply, but his feelings do not dictate his actions. He is the master of his fate, the captain of his soul. In his solitude, he has discovered the power of detachment, not indifference, but the ability to participate in life fully without being consumed by it. He loves without clinging, gives without expectation, serves without seeking recognition. He knows that everything is borrowed, that nothing truly belongs to him. This knowledge frees him from fear, from jealousy, from the need to possess or control. He is content to let things come and go, to savour what is given and release what is taken. You may find this unsettling, even threatening. It is easier to believe that happiness lies in acquisition, in conquest, in the accumulation of experiences and relationships. But the solitary man knows that true wealth is measured not by what you hold, but by what you can let go. He is rich in the currency of detachment, wealthy in the abundance of enough. He is not immune to loneliness, nor does he deny its sting. There are nights when the silence is heavy, when the ache of separation is almost unbearable, but he does not run from these moments. He welcomes them as teachers. He knows that loneliness is not a punishment, but a passage, a necessary rite of transformation. In the quiet, he discovers the depth of his own company, the richness of his own mind. He learns to befriend himself, to find solace in the simple act of being. There is a wildness in him, a primal energy that cannot be domesticated. He is not tame, not safe, not easily understood. He belongs to himself, loyal first and always to his own soul. This is the source of his power, the refusal to betray himself for the sake of belonging, the courage to walk alone when necessary. He does not seek to fit in, for he knows that conformity is the enemy of authenticity. He would rather be alone than be false. Women sense this wildness, this untamed spirit that cannot be captured or contained. They are drawn to it even as it frightens them, for in his presence they are reminded of their own longing for freedom, their own hunger for something real. He does not offer security or predictability. He offers truth, challenge, the chance to grow. His love is not a cave, but a door, one that leads to a deeper self, a more honest life. Men too are affected. Some resent his independence, mistaking it for arrogance. Others are inspired, recognizing in his solitude the possibility of their own liberation. He does not compete, for he has nothing to prove. He does not boast, for he knows the futility of comparison. He is content to be himself, regardless of who is watching. You may wonder what it would take to walk this path, to claim this power for yourself. It begins with a willingness to be alone, to face the emptiness within, to let go of the need for constant reassurance. It requires the courage to confront your own darkness, to accept your own imperfections, to make peace with your own company. It is not an easy journey, but it is the only one that leads to true freedom. The dangerous power of a man who chooses solitude is not in his ability to withdraw, but in his capacity to remain whole in the absence of others. He is complete, self-sustaining, rooted in a sense of purpose that does not waver with the tides of fortune. In a world that fears emptiness, he finds fullness. In a culture that worships noise, he cherishes silence. He does not need to announce his worth, nor does he seek to justify his choices. The strength of his solitude speaks for itself, resonating in the way he carries himself, in the calm certainty of his actions, in the rare but genuine warmth of his smile. He is not above the world, nor is he detached from its beauty and pain. Rather, he is deeply engaged, but on his own terms. He chooses when to give, when to retreat, when to open his heart and when to guard it. This autonomy is the foundation of his power. He understands that solitude is not a fortress, but a garden, a place cultivated through patience, reflection, and care. In this garden he tends to his dreams, nourishes his spirit, and heals his wounds. He reads, he writes, he creates. He walks in nature, letting the rhythm of his footsteps ground him in the present moment. He meditates, not to escape reality, but to meet it more fully, to see things as they are, unclouded by the projections of others. In his presence you may feel both challenged and comforted. His lack of neediness is liberating, yet it demands that you bring your whole self to the table. He will not fill your emptiness, nor will he allow you to fill his. Instead, he invites you to stand beside him as an equal, whole, sovereign, awake. If you cannot, he will not chase or persuade. He will simply let you go, trusting that what is meant to remain will remain. He is not immune to longing, nor does he deny the ache for connection. but he has learned that true intimacy can only exist between two whole people, each rooted in their own being. He does not seek to merge, to lose himself in another, or to be completed by someone else. He knows that love is not about possession, but about presence, a shared journey, not a desperate clinging. This is why his love, when given, is so powerful. It is not a plea for validation, but a celebration of freedom. He loves without attachment, without demand, without fear. He gives because he chooses, not because he needs. His affection is not a transaction, but a gift, rare, precious, and utterly sincere. The world may misunderstand him, may call him aloof, arrogant, or cold, but those who truly see him know the truth, that his solitude is not a rejection of others, but a devotion to authenticity. He will not betray himself for comfort, nor will he sacrifice his integrity for acceptance. He is willing to be alone if that is the price of being true. And so he moves quietly through the world, leaving behind a trail of questions, a sense of possibility, a whisper of something greater. He is not a hero nor a saint. He is simply a man who has chosen to meet himself fully, to walk the path of solitude with courage and grace. If you find yourself drawn to this path, know that it is open to you. It requires only the willingness to be honest, to be vulnerable, to be alone. It asks that you let go of what is false, that you embrace what is real, that you trust in the wisdom of your own soul. For in the end, the dangerous power of the man who chooses solitude is not in his distance from the world, but in his closeness to himself. He is a beacon in the darkness, a reminder that true strength is born not from domination, but from self-mastery, not from conquest, but from acceptance, not from noise, but from silence. And in that silence you may just hear the call to your own freedom. If you found value in this video, please hit the like button to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new content on self-development, philosophy, and the journey to self-mastery. Share your thoughts or personal stories in the comments below. I always appreciate hearing from you. Thanks for watching and being part of this community.